So greetings. Uh, in this session, we are going to talk about what we call a cattle crash among the structures found in a livestock farm. In the previous lesson, I had started describing the following. I say that we are going to look at what we call a spray race, a calf pen, a milking parlor, or the shed, and plus what we call a cattle crash. So we are going to start with the cattle crash. So the definition I'm having here is saying a cattle crash is a structure used for restraining animals when carrying out certain cattle practices. So kaba kayumba, it is a structure. It is built the way you build the kirals ngije muzibamu ebiralo byammwe, but it is used for restraining kubanga kukwatira animal in one place such that certain activities can be done. To put a tag on the animal, you have to put it in what we call a cattle crash so that the animal tegenda kutawanya eri mukafuka mutayina weekyusiza n'okola ebintu. If you want maybe to do what we call castration, put it in a crash. If you want to spray, if you want to brand, if you want to do what. So cattle crash is a structure used for restraining animals when carrying out certain cattle practices. Oba olina kyayala okukola, use what we call a cattle crash. Hope I'm clear there. Examples of activities that can be carried out in a cattle crash. So all the activities we've been looking at, they can be done in a cattle crash. One, we can talk about branding. Branding, we talked about it in the previous session. I hope you still remember. Ear tagging, ear notching, dehorning, drenching, dosing, vaccination, artificial insemination, pregnancy diagnosis. Pregnancy diagnosis means to know how the pregnancy, the condition of the pregnancy, how old is the fetus, like that. So pregnancy diagnosis kwanga kukebera nti omanyi ente eri eggwako omanyi akaana kali mu mbeera kikafaanana kata, like that. How is the health of the fetus? Castration, we talked about it, is okulaawa. So the structure of the cattle crash, it looks like that. Hope you can see it very well there. That is what we call a cattle crash. Ng'ente mweri muki muli munda. Hope you can see it very well. Sebeera omwo nga talina weekyuza oba oyagala okukola ky'okoze kyonna, you want to put a tag on its ears, you can easily do it nga it is restrained ng'eri mu kifo kimu. So next we can talk about what we call a spray race. A spray race is a farm structure used for tick control. So spray race, it is the same. It is always the same as it is. It tries to resemble a cattle crash, but a spray race we spray the animals. So how does a spray race work? A spray race works by showering acaricides on the animal's body. So animal tujira acaricides. Acaricides, we say that these are chemicals that are used to kill the external parasites of cattle. Then there is what we call the milking parlor. Milking parlor is a place where milking is done. Awokamira wetuyita milking parlor. All of you, I think you can see the spelling of milking parlor. It is PARLOUR. That is what we call the milking parlor. So awokamira wetuyitawo milking parlor. So kati mwe abasinga obungi you always muzisiba ku miguwa. So gwate bw'otuuka okamira awo kumpi wennyini, but there should be a designed place where you have to milk from. Tokamira ate ente wezikola ki wezifuka. So the milking parlor should be clean. So those are the things. So they can easily give you a question. They can ask you, if I give any 3 ways how you can maintain the milking parlor in a good working condition. You have to clean it. You do what? Disinfect it. Disinfection means you use chemicals to kill the germs. Okay. Write down any 3 components of a milking parlor: a feeding trough, a water trough, and a night trough. So feeding trough, water trough, and night trough, those are the things. Feeding trough, water trough, and okay. Because we said that when you are milking, you have to give the cow feed so that you keep it calm. Hope you are still remembering it. Next, we talk about what we call a calf pen. A calf pen, we are saying, is a structure used for housing calves. So that structure mu ekizimbe calves mwe zibeera, so akayana ate tekabeera mu nnyumba yemu n'ente enkulu mwe zikola ki mwe zibeera. So there is a different room, a different structure for the calves. We call it the calf pen. Calf pen. All of you repeat after me. It is a calf pen. Okay. Identify the features of a good calf pen. A good calf pen should be clean. So it has to be clean so that to avoid diseases. We avoid diseases. Hope I'm clear there. A good calf pen should enable the calf to see the mother calf and the mother of the calf and other animals. So erina okubeera nga calf pen eyo weeri erina okakaafu kubanga kalaba ku mama kubanga bwe kaba katajja mulaba. First of all, it will cry a lot. Another thing, it will not be in a good condition. A good calf pen should be well ventilated. Well ventilated kitegeeza okubanga kasobola nnyo okuyingiza empewo eno enabling okuyingira n'okufuluma. Ventilation means allowing free air circulation. Air esobola okufuluma, air esobola okuyingira. That is what we call. Those are some of the features of a good calf pen. Ways of caring for a calf pen. One is scrubbing the floor. Next is repairing the damaged parts of the calf pen. So also the houses or the structures designed for the calves have their ways of, their types. One, we have what we call a permanent calf pen and a movable calf pen. Hope you can easily understand these ones from common sense. A permanent calf pen is a pen that cannot be moved from one place to another. Permanent calf pen ebeera mu kifo kimu, so tosobola gijjawo n'ogitwala luddawa n'ogitwala ewalala, ebeera mu kifo kimu. Hope I'm clear there. Permanent calf pen ebeera mu kifo kimu. Then a movable calf pen esobola okuba ng'ogitambuza. So osobola okuba ng'ogitambuza n'ogijja wano n'ogitwala wali, n'ogijja wano n'ogitwala wali, n'ogijja wano n'ogitwala wali. That is what we call a movable calf pen. So that one is normally done for those people who normally carry what we call paddock grazing. Paddock grazing, we shall look at it later. But paddock grazing kitegeeza takuba wali dividing into different plots. So bw'ova wano osobola okunoga nti kati eno wiiki ente zange kazirye mu kano ka plot ka land in that paddock. Ka region ako tukayita ka paddock ka plot akamu. So bw'ete bwe zijja omuddo gwa wano oguba ng'okukendeeramu ng'ozitwala mu ka paddock akalala. All those paddocks, they are fenced to prevent the animals from moving out of them. Kati bw'omala oteekawo ka movable calf pen, akayana kabeere nga kalaba ku nte yaako. Bw'ova mu eno paddock n'ogenda mu paddock endala, calf pen ako otambula nako ng'okatwala wa? That is what we call a movable calf pen. Commonly used in paddock grazing. So what have we looked at? We have looked at different structures. First, we started with what we call a cattle crush, that small structure used for restraining animals while carrying out certain cattle practices. We talked about the cattle practices we can do. Ear tagging, ear notching, dehorning, drenching, vaccination, artificial insemination, pregnancy diagnosis, castration, If at all there is something that you don't know, you find a means of knowing. If you don't know, you raise up the hand and I give you the answer. Okay. We continue with pasture. Pasture. Hope by this time in P6 you know what pasture means. Ogwo omuddo ente kwe zikola ki? Kwe zirya. So what is pasture? We are saying pasture is open grassland where animals graze. Is open grassland where animals graze. Ente we zikola ki? We ziriira. Okay? So you have types of pasture. We have what we call natural pasture. Also have artificial pasture. So natural pasture, as usual, as you know, everything that is in nature, it always exists by nature, or it has no man intervention. So natural pasture is grass that grow on its own and eaten by animals in its raw form. So omuddo gwekuza gwokka ne zirya guli bwente nga tegulina kyagukozeeko yadde. That is what normally people do nga muli ewammwe. You normally feed the animals on natural pasture. The grass that is grown on its own and eaten by animals in its raw form. Hope I'm clear there. So it grows on its own. Things were not in that definition. The pasture grows on its own and it is eaten by animals in its raw form. There is no any other processing. Nga gubadde animals bezigulya. Hope I'm clear there. Then next, give the examples of natural pasture. Examples of natural pasture, we can talk about such some. There is what we call elephant grass. So that statement is not elephants, it is elephant grass. The so-called bisagazi in local language we eat bisagazi. Another one is coach grass. Coach grass is the so-called lumbugu. Lumbugu is also eaten by the animals. We have what we call alfalfa. Alfalfa is also another grass that is eaten by animals. Rhodes grass, it is also eaten by the animals. Spear grass, nandi grass, all those are examples of natural pastures. They grow on their own, okay? And they are eaten in their raw form. So people will tell me that I can plant the elephant grass. But remember, the elephant grass, after planting the elephant grass, the animal will eat it in its raw form. That means still it remains a natural pasture. Then we talk about something else. What we are talking about now is artificial prepared pasture. Prepared pasture is pasture made from fodder crops. Keywords from that thing is fodder crops. What are fodder crops? In the definition down there, they are saying fodder crops are crops grown for feeding animals. So those crops are mainly grown for feeding animals, not human beings, for animals. Ng'omuddogo ekyagukulimisa to feed the animals. Okay? Examples of the fodder crops would be sorghum, millet, oats, sweet potatoes, maize, barley. All those ones, they are fodder crops. So we use those the maize, the sorghum, the millet, the oats, sweet potatoes, barley to prepare what we call the prepared pasture or artificial pasture. So ogwo omuddo gwe tuguteekamu ebirungo bingi, tuteekamu omunyu n'ogukaza n'ogukola ki, you form different types of pastures. You make it very very nutritious n'okuteekamu ebirungo so that it is good for the animals. So ogwo omuddo oguli improved gwe gubaliisa ennyo exotic breeds. Exotic breeds are they normally eat on prepared pasture or what we call artificial pasture. Okay, we have the different examples of prepared pasture. One is what we call hay. That one is called hay. All of you come after me. It is hay. Hay. All say what I'm saying. Hay. There is what we call silage. Those are the examples. Then there is a note there. Hay is grass that has been dried for feeding farm animals. So hay, we dry the grass. We add there some add their salt. They add their what to make it more nutritious, and even it is preserved because ebisagazi obirekawo notobirabirira tebijja kukola bbanga ddene, but you dry the hay, you make sure that it is cared for. By the time it is used, even you can use it during the period of drought, so it is dried for future use. Then another one is silage. Silage is grass that has been stored without being dried and is used to feed the animals. Okay, so you can talk about those things there. Next, state the importance of pasture. Pasture is very important because you say that pasture gwe omuddo ente kwezikola ki kwezirya. Pasture, first, pasture is used as food for animals. That is one. Two, some pasture is used as thatching material. Third one, some pasture like cloves and legumes are used to improve soil fertility. So it depends on which on the way of the question was asked. If they said the importance of pasture to animals, you say pasture is used as food for animals. But if they just said the importance of pasture, just give all of them. Pasture is used for thatching material. That one means tukozesa omuddo ogwo okukola ki, okusereka oba okuzimba. Okay, that is what we call some pasture being used for as a thatching material. Then the next is some pasture like cloves and legumes are used to improve soil fertility. So in case you plant your pasture, there are legumes. You know the legumes, they have root nodules. They have root nodules which have what we call nitrogen fixing bacteria that fix nitrogen in the soil. I told you in class, when nitrogen is fixed, it turns into nitrates, which are used by the plants. Hope I'm clear there. So some pasture like cloves and legumes are used to improve soil fertility. So in the next lesson, we shall be talking about types of cattle feeds. We shall look at them. So now we rest, we prepare for the exercise.